And a big thank you once again to all of our supporters over at patreon.com/878survivor FM, all of our production managers, Shane Murphy, Tank Dazza, Hawks Hammer, Ebbet Daddy, and Cinnamon, our producer, the one and only Red Freedom, and also a big shout out to all of our growing YouTube members at youtube.com/878survivor FM, Kenny Baker, King Alobar, Cinnamon, Jake is Zero Cool, Raymond Normoil, Marston P2, Matt Z, Darkwing, Michael, Melbourne's Adventures, Petawetty, and The Greedy Peasant. All of you are legends who help the show go on each and every week. Thank you all for your support, even just by watching or listening each week to the podcast or the spotlight. We hope you enjoy this week's show. And we are live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And welcome to the Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen. And this week we are shining the spotlight on the one, the only, the Mr. Rav Plays. Rav, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Mate, my apologies for last night. I'm too old to be scheduling fucking interviews at 2, 3 a.m. in the morning when I'm an old fart like me with a gap tooth. So this works out better. I stay up a little bit later and then, sleep all day tomorrow. Get my beauty sleep, which God knows I need, don't I?
It happens to the best of us, mate.
Well, you were just telling me, mate, what time did you wake up today?
At 2 o'clock. Oh, no, 1 o'clock. 2 o'clock now, but yeah.
So about an hour ago.
But I've been waking up every half an hour to check if the new update for DayZ's out.
Yep. So you don't believe it'll be the 19th? You reckon it's coming this week?
Why do people think it'll be the 19th?
Prestige did a video on it, that International Coding Day thing that they were talking about. He reckons he deciphered and found two S's, and his assumption is that one of the S's means September, and the other one is S is the 19th letter of the alphabet, so his guess was September 19th. Either that or they're adding SS Guard uniforms to the game.
I mean, it's a bank holiday, so I'd like it to be on the 19th.
My audio is a little bit low, is it? Okay, give me 1 sec, Luke. What about now? How's that? Is that better? Maybe move the mic in a bit. You'd think after all this time doing the podcasts and interviews, I'd have my shit sorted, wouldn't you, Rav?
You'd think so, but the other day I just realised I had my mic configured entirely wrong and basically ruined an entire recording.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's the curse of being a content creator, mate. When things like that go wrong for you, and there's so much that can go wrong. But yeah. So let's find out a little bit about you, mate. How old are you?
I'm 20.
20, you're a young'un. My son's older than you. Fuck me, I'm old.
That's crazy.
He's 21. So yeah. Got a missus?
Yeah, I do.
Nice work. Any plans on our children getting married, or just going to stay footloose and fancy free for a while?
Well, I'm in uni at the moment, so probably just keep it how it is for the time being until afterwards.
What do you study?
I study esports production.
Wow. Okay. That kind of makes sense with your goal of setting up events and so on in the competition. In the community. So, wow, that's really exciting, mate. Tell us a bit more about that.
It's pretty good. It's like one of the only few courses in the country. But you know the Commonwealth Games, right?
Yep.
Actually, as part of the course, we got to work there the other month.
The Commonwealth Games, for those who don't know, is basically like the Olympic Games, but for members of the Commonwealth nations. So the rest of us actually get to win some medals because China and America and Russia aren't invited.
But they do esports there now. So it's first year. So they invited us to sort of work there. Really good money as well.
What sports? What games are they going to be showcasing?
So They were doing Dota,
Yep.
Rocket League, and then eFootball. But the eFootball was basically because they don't. It's like their first time doing it, so they can't get the FIFA license. And they do Dota because League of Legends is really funny. Not League of Legends, Riot. It's quite funny about giving out licenses, and they don't
Mm-hmm.
do Counter Strike because it's too bloody. Like this is like a family. Loads of people watch the Commonwealth Games,
Yep.
don't they? So they
Yep.
can't air it on TV if it's got like that sort of violence in.
But they've got boxing.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the world we live in, mate. Certain things are, oh, no, that's verboten. No, can't do that. But other things are perfectly okay. You know, two men jumping into a ring and beating the living shit out of each other. That's fine for good fun family entertainment. But a bunch of young kids playing a video game, no. Did you see Silo Entertainment got demonetized, mate?
Yeah, I saw your retweet about it.
Again, this world we live in, man. And you know, like I said, I'm interested in your opinion on it. But that's fucking scary to me, man. Yeah, have you ever watched any of his videos, his airsoft stuff?
I used to watch his DayZ videos, but if I'm not wrong, he only does airsoft videos now.
Yeah. Have you ever watched any of them though?
Yeah, I have when he
Yeah.
first sort of made the transition.
They're quite fun, aren't they? You know, obviously you've got to have some sort of interest in, you know, sort of LARPing as a soldier and running around with toy guns and shooting pellets at other people and that. I've never played airsoft because it's illegal here in Australia. But yeah, we've
Really?
got pay. Yeah.
Can you play paintball at least?
Yes, we can play paintball, but airsoft is, you know, they look like real guns, so that's really, really scary. So no,
I understand.
yeah, that's illegal here in Australia. But yeah, YouTube just go and demonetize his whole channel with little to no communication other than a message in his YouTube studio and probably an email, and he can't even get on the phone to someone to talk about it. You know, someone didn't even call him and say, "Hey, look, you need to make these changes" or whatever. That's just so scary as a content creator, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, I can imagine that's his livelihood, and that's just gone in an instant.
Yep. You know, I know he has his own branded stuff, and you know, he's been quite smart and built a bit of a name brand in the airsoft community. But you know, like I said, mate, you know, what next? Are they going to start cracking down on violent video games? Yeah, I even hate using the word violent video games. On combat related video games. But you know, DayZ would be. You know, you look at some of the stuff that people do in some of these videos, and it's pretty. You know, out of context, it's pretty crazy, but it's just people having fun, having a laugh. But
if I remember, there was an issue with, I think it was in Australia with DayZ, with something to do with morphine, wasn't it?
Marijuana,
right?
Because it was in the game files, and yeah, so they actually DayZ was technically banned for a little while here, and they managed to get that resolved. But yeah, it was just. Yeah, the things they allow and then the things they don't allow, it's absolutely crazy. But we're getting off topic as I want to do, mate. We're finding out more about you. So esports at university, how long has that course been going for?
It's only been going on, well, the one that I study has only been going on for 2 years.
Yep.
But I think there's some others in the country that have maybe been going on a little bit longer.
Who do they get to teach those courses?
So we have one guy who works in like the National Game Museum, so he knows all about like the history of all of it. Then we have one guy who's just like in the role. That's what he does as a job. Like he works on esports events.
Yep.
One guy he's just because they teach other stuff as well. They also teach like Photoshop, like content creation. So there's one guy who's just really good at that. And then there's this one guy who is not really anything to do with esports. He's more of just like an academic person. So he teaches about how to be professional, like those sort of skills. So they only have 4 lecturers for it, but it's not that big of a course.
How valuable is the stuff? Have you learnt any really good tips and tricks from them?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, see, they teach Adobe, which I don't use personally. I know a lot of the stuff already, but they also teach loads of practical stuff. So it's just stuff that I wouldn't have touched before, like setting up like the LEDs, the green screens, these big sort of performance stuff that I just don't have access to or the budget for. But
Yes.
hopefully one day, then I'll be able to like sort of include that in my own sort of productions. And you get to meet loads of like-minded people as well, which is just really useful in general.
Any other sizable content creators on the course?
No, but there's someone who's like really big in the PUBG mobile scene. Like he's been setting up events for that.
Yep.
Like with hundreds of thousands in prize pool. So he's doing quite well. There's somebody who works for Blizzard already. Like there's some quite successful people in it already, I'd say.
Breaking new ground, mate. Getting to do a course. It's you're basically the second. What are you in? Your first year, second year, third year?
So I start my second year in a couple of weeks.
Yep. That's awesome, mate. Keep us updated on that. I'm really, really curious to hear how that pans out for you. Bugger off, David. No, I didn't fall asleep on the sofa. I've done that before for the podcast, mate. I wake up early, get myself all set up, and then I just go have a little nap on the couch, and then it's like 7 o'clock, and I'm like, fuck, I'm late. Oh God, I've missed it. So yeah, it's a bit of a running joke for me. What else do you do in your spare time for shits and giggles, mate? What do you do for fun?
I mean, I'm at uni, so I go out partying quite a bit.
Yep. Good boy.
Quite
Good
a
boy.
drinker.
You're only young ones.
Then obviously I spend most of my time playing DayZ or any free time I can get. Or I just like, I don't know, one of the things me and my mates started doing is just going to like other towns in the country, just see what's like just exploring, traveling. I quite like traveling. So
yep.
So just traveling. But I tend to spend all my free time playing DayZ because it is quite time intensive to make a video.
Oh yeah. Yep. Whether it be a scripted one, such as your tips and tricks videos where you've got to go in and record the footage, your myth busting ones, or even, they're probably a bit easier than the gameplay ones because the gameplay ones you can spend 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 hours and not get anything suitable. You've just got to get lucky unless you're going to make a scripted video. Now, you were telling me before you started, mate, that you played back in the mod days as well.
Yeah, when I was really young.
Yep, a real squeaker, maybe? A real squeaker, eh?
Yeah, a very squeaky, extremely. I remember I have a sister like just 16 months younger than me, so we're very similar age. And my grandma would always call the phone, and I'd pick up when I was a kid, and she would always think it was my sister, and it'd break my little heart. But I was a squeaker, yeah.
Do you have any footage from back then? Did you record any videos, or that was before you started?
You know what? I think I have an old channel. I can see if I can find it.
Oh, please do. I've got to hear Squeaker Rav. I've got to hear Squeaker Rav. We'll play it on the stream if we can, if you can find it.
I found the channel.
I love seeing the evolution of creators as well. I don't know about you, but I go back and I look at the stuff I first made when I first started making videos back in about 2015.
There you go. It's a Minecraft video. It's in 2014, so it's not actually that long ago. 8 years ago. So I was 12.
Where'd you put it?
In the Spotlight chat.
Yep. Give me 1 sec.
Hello guys, welcome to another video, and this is Total Energy Gaming here.
Oh my god!
Episode 1 of Fact and Tips. I'm going to show you how to make a regeneration wall that regenerates. Yeah, you heard it. It regenerates when it gets blown up, broken, or whatever. So first you're going to need cobblestone, then you're going to need water and lava. Basically, this is just...
I'm sorry, mate, but I've got to side with your grandmother. I've got to side with your grandmother. That is one hell of a squeaker voice, mate. Oh my god. Right. Oh wow. That I was literally because you've got quite a deep voice now, mate.
I guess so.
Oh, look, I've heard people who are, still have a higher pitched voice than you, mate. You've got quite a lovely voice, almost soothing, some could say. Roy Beer's asking in chat, how's the video coming along of which you showed off the intro the other day, Rav?
So the plan is to have it out by Saturday, maybe Sunday, depending on how hungover I am tomorrow.
Yep.
But, it's coming together nicely. I'm really enjoying making it. Got all the footage for it now. Need to put it together, finish up the final bits.
Just sharing that channel with people so they can go in and check it. How many videos you got on there? 5 videos. Minecraft, faction tips 1 and 2. How to upload a customized thumbnail. Quick and easy. So even back then, mate, you were giving people tips and tricks.
Actually, it used to be really difficult to upload a thumbnail back then.
Yep. OP
It's
prison
weird to
server
have
review.
monetized.
Yeah. Wow.
Basically, just copied my friend who was in my class in primary school. He made this similar sort of videos, so I just hopped on it.
That's awesome, mate. That's awesome. I'm glad you haven't delisted the channel. It always makes me sad.
I don't think I could access it, even if I wanted to.
What does the about section say? Absolutely blank. Oh, such a crime, such a crime. I would have loved to have known what your ambitions were when you were, knee-high to a grasshopper and started off, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and wanting to be the next PewDiePie, I imagine. So, yeah, going back to DayZ Mod, what did you think of it when it first came out? What got you playing it? What were you another one like the most of us who saw a Frankie video and went, "Wow, that's fucking amazing"? And
that was it exactly. Saw Frankie playing it.
Yep.
Got it on my mum's laptop, booted it up, started running around. I think DayZ Standalone had just came out when I started playing the mod, but my laptop couldn't run it, so I was playing the Armor version. And the Armor version was a lot more popular than the Standalone for a very long time. So I was playing the Armor 2 version probably in 2014 or 2013. And yeah, I loved it. I still remember the first time I logged on. Spawned in Electro. I met this guy called Dara, this Irish guy. I played with him for a couple of years, and he showed us, let me into his clan and everything. I got quite lucky where I had a good start. Who knows if I'd still be playing it if I just got killed over and over again. No, it was one of those overclock servers.
I think I maybe have an hour or two, and I couldn't even work out the inventory in the game. Even after all those videos of Frankie's I'd watched, I was just like, what the fuck? And then Standalone come out, and I think in February we got a gaming laptop and started playing on that, and here I am now interviewing people who are much better at making content than I am. I was checking out your YouTube channel, mate, and you've had some absolute banger videos.
Thank you.
Like some that have really, I think your most viewed video was 700,000 views.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. So you're still yet to crack that mystical million mark.
Still, yeah. Hopefully one day.
But it's the ones that that really stand out are your tips and tricks videos. They're your top 2.
Yeah, they do extremely well.
Yeah, and I love to bring this up, but I interview predominantly people who are DayZ and dead game, and yet a year ago, in 1 year, 741,000 views of 201 must know DayZ tips and tricks that still work in the game.
Yeah, it's not a dead game by even if you look at the Steam charts, there's still loads of people playing it. I mean, it's at what I don't know about right now, but a few months ago it was at its peak ever, wasn't it? In terms of concurrent players. Yeah, so 41,000 people in 24 hours. That's got to be in the top 20 on Steam, surely. But nah, considering it's like 9 years old, far from dead.
Usually I find it's 24, 25, I was about to say. So, and again, I love looking at this, mate, because you've got Payday 2. How old's that fucking game? War
Is
Thunder.
that's still getting players?
Sorry,
How many people still play Payday 2?
33,000 right now.
No way.
Counter Strike is still up there. That old Dota 2 is an old game as well. You know, it's not a fresh game by any stretch of the imagination. PUBG, you know, 5 years old or so.
Even
Team
even
Fortress
Rust.
2, Rust. You know, all these old games that just keep on killing it. With all the technology and advances we've had, mate, is this something you have talked about in the degree at all?
We talk about how Counter Strike's still like at the top after all these years, quite a bit.
Yep.
That's the best example, really. I mean, look, it's at the top, 700,000 players, and it's what technically like a 30-year-old game or 20-year-old game.
Even just look at the total hours played, 477,000.
Is
That's in the last
just
30 days. Oh, sorry, 477 million.
crazy?
Absolutely insane.
I don't know if DayZ's numbers will ever go any higher, but I think they're at a good level.
Yep. Now, peak in the last just under 50,000 peak players. I think that's bloody amazing. And
I mean, what's crazy is it does better than Arma 3, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even though it gets less love, maybe, from the developers.
Arma 3 is not even in the top 50.
Mad.
Not in the top 75. Not even in the top 100. Scum has more people playing it than Arma 3.
Really? I haven't played that game in ages.
Have I just missed it?
It's got like 10,000 people playing it, 11 for 12,000 basically.
Arma 3 does. Did you just search it directly?
Yeah.
I must have missed it somehow. Battlefield 5.
Yeah, 72. Arma 3 is 72.
Okay, so no,
72.
Scum. It does have more than Scum. 72, there it is, yep. Around The Sims, Fallout 4. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, like you said, mate, yeah, DayZ just keeps on, yeah, you know, you said about the devs, mate. It always makes me wonder. It's not so much the devs, BI, why they don't give more love to DayZ. You know, but why they haven't done a DLC, another one.
That's what I'm thinking.
You know,
Livonia must have made a decent chunk.
You kind of wonder, do they not like money? You know, especially if they made it compatible for console, that'd make a mozza. You know?
Exactly, because if you think on console, they only have the choice between Jonas and Livonia. We have the luxury on PC where we can play DIY on the mouse.
The modded variations like Zagoria and things like that, which is amazing what they're doing with what they do have access to on console. But yeah. I'm still dealing with your voice in that video from years ago. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. So what did you think of Standalone? When did you finally get to start playing it?
I played a bit of both. So I hopped onto Standalone and I didn't like it. I remember getting spawning inside of a rock and I couldn't escape.
Yep.
So I was like, I'm not playing this. I'm going back to Arma 2. And I played Arma 2 for a while until I finally got into a DayZ roleplay server. It was called DayZ Aftermath. It's not the same DayZ Aftermath that's around now.
Yep.
It was a different one. And I played that, made some friends on there. And I don't know when I played that. I think I actually made some videos on there, but I don't know where the channel is for that. And I'll be unlisted. But I played DayZ roleplay. Then that eventually shut down. I started playing on DayZ Underground and DayZ Village. Those were the servers they were basically the only popular servers at that point in DayZ. There was like 2,000 players playing a day max, so I didn't really have any choice. But that's how I got into standalone, and I quite like those servers, so I continued playing. And eventually, I was playing Rust as well on the side, but mainly DayZ, and eventually DayZ updated in it to the version we know now, and popular again.
That's one guy I really miss in the community is Barely Infected.
Yeah, I don't know whatever happened to him.
He, just life. Pretty much that's it. Even Asmondian's got a fucking video up. The Village in a Nutshell, DayZ Village. For those who don't know, Asmondian does have a YouTube channel. He just rarely ever plays it. But yeah, I used to play the Village as well, even back in the day. It was just, even for the ping, it was an amazing server. It relied on a lot of good faith. People, not to use third party, TeamSpeak, or I'm not even sure if Discord was around back when the Village first came out. But yeah, it was a great experiment. It was only meant to last for, I think, when Renee first released it with Spaggy, it was only meant to go for a month, maybe a week. But
I think it was a week.
It was just that popular; it never died, and it's still going to this day.
I have a little montage on it because I was a little shit. DayZ 2017, yep. Bandit Life, DayZ Village, yeah.
Yep. So what made you start making DayZ videos?
God knows. I've always been making videos since I was young, as we've just seen. But now I think I just quite enjoy DayZ. I just started basically, apart from these two, I tried to do a series on the Village at the very start of my channel. But now I just started uploading montages.
Mm-hmm.
Just to give kills, stream highlights. And then slowly turned into guides. But they were more like memes. So I started with a few memes. This was like basically how to fly, but I was doing it in like sort of a jokey way of like DayZ's Apollo program, but you could fly using tires, which was kind of a tutorial, I guess you could say. And then that got a lot of views, or irrelative. It's only 3.7 K, but back then, size of my channel, I thought that was really good. And then I saw that did well, so I made another video, which was a guide. There were more glitches than guides, to be fair.
Yep.
But then I just started with the guides, and they started doing well, so I made a few more, and eventually mixed it up with a couple gameplay videos as well.
Mm-hmm. And you've kind of evolved to, you do a bit of gameplay stuff, but most of your stuff, especially the successful stuff, is around guides to the game now, mate, tips and tricks and stuff like that.
Yeah, so my plan because obviously I took quite a significant break. My plan was to come back with just guides, because I knew I could manage them weekly, and they'll do well, because you've got to get that momentum back, don't you?
Yeah.
So I started with just guide after guide after guide, and the plan now is to try and do, because a guide I can put together in a couple of days if I just focus, get my head down. So the plan is to do a guide every other weekend and a gameplay video every other weekend, but like stagger them, so it's still weekly uploads. And then that almost gives me 2 weeks to work on a gameplay video.
And what about streaming?
Maybe 11. Probably, unless I'm doing like events, or participating in events, probably not gonna stream.
Yeah.
Because it just takes up too much time.
Yeah.
And there's so many other great streamers that I don't think I can even compete when it comes to that. I'm just gonna stick with making the videos, because that's what I know does well for me.
Yeah, even with that big gap you had there, over a year ago for your video, then 3 months ago was when you started again, and you've just come back with a vengeance. Still not quite the massive views you've got on some of the older videos, but it's pretty much on par with what you were getting for most of your videos on average.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can take a break from content creation if you can. Obviously, if you're doing it for a living, that's a different story. But you can take a break and then come back, and your first video back 13,000 views. Second video back 133,000 views. That's awesome.
The interesting thing about that video is actually took a while to pick up the 202 plus tips and tricks.
Yep.
Like that was going to be the video I led with, but I saw the update came out, so I just threw a video on that quickly. Then a couple of days later, I uploaded the 202 tips and tricks, but it didn't get many. It was on like 5,000 views in the first week, but after I started uploading the other ones, then that one, so I got some more traction.
Probably my favourite one you've done though, mate, is this one here, the complete DayZ backstory, a DayZ lore.
Yeah, I really enjoyed putting that one together.
How hard was it?
It's quite difficult, very difficult. There's not much information on it, and when you do find information, it's like really conflicting.
Yeah,
there's actually like, if you read the comments, there's like more, like people are coming together, like coming forward with more of clues, which just they all conflict each other. Obviously, DayZ, there's no official law, and that's probably why there's conflictions. You can only sort of form an opinion, really.
Did Chamber Senator reply at all? Can't see him on there. But yeah, it's definitely, if you haven't watched it and you are interested in the lore of DayZ, folks, I'll share the links in chat now for you so you can bookmark it. It is just a really well put together video that just, because it is quite diverse. And, you know, like one of the comments I saw there, I love how the devs mentioned this vid in the monthly update, but refused to confirm or deny the backstory.
I wonder what they actually have planned, or if they even have anything planned.
I don't think they do, mate. Everything I've ever heard, you know, from conversations I've had, is they're very reluctant to put a concrete backstory. They just want people to be able to, you know, make their own. You know, I don't know whether you. I know you did because you referenced it in the video. You mentioned the interview I did with Matt Lightfoot on the podcast, where we got quite a lot of information about what, you know, Dean initially envisaged for the game, but they've kind of they're moving away from that a bit, you know, with the gas strikes and the artillery strikes from off the map and things like that. I'm fascinated to see where they go with the game now, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just for gameplay purposes, the gas strikes and stuff, rather than lore. They probably didn't even consider the lore when they added it, but I mean, I quite like the gas.
I think it's a good addition myself as well. Yeah.
I'm still yet to be hit by like the random ones, the dynamic ones.
Really?
I can imagine that's rather annoying. Yeah.
It's kind of actually it's I don't know whether fun's the right word, but when you hear it coming, like I've now gotten into the habit, when I hear, if I get to hear the artillery in the distance, I start looking up while I'm running through a town, just looking up to see if there's a flare, to try to get eyes. You know, obviously during the day it's harder to see them, but when you hear that artillery strike come in on you, oh my God, you shit, mate, you shit. Yeah, and it's making me like now. I carry a gas mask with me everywhere. I carry a blood bag with me as soon as I can get one, so that if worst case scenario I do get caught in it and I don't get out in time, I've got a cure on me, or I've got the gas mask on at least, you know, to stop me from getting poisoned if I do get you know, well and truly stuck in there. So it's mixed up, maybe mixed up my gameplay a bit.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I've heard them land nearby, but yet to have it land on me. But I'm looking forward to it, I guess. And what do you think of the what do you call it, the static gas zones?
Again, something different. You know, it gives you basically an objective. You know, to go and round up all that gear, so that you can go in and search for, you know, a higher chance of the high tier loot. So I like that idea. They're my favourite addition, the static. The randoms, they're nice, but they're kind of whatever. Like I wouldn't miss them if they were gone. But the static locations, I just don't like the locations on Livonia. The main one I don't like is Radnin. the big medical facility. When there's no hospitals with lots of medical spawns on the map, that was the go-to place to get medical stuff. And, you know, there's a higher chance of NBC gear spawning at medical locations. You've only got, 2 or 3 fire stations across that entire map as well, where is another place with a high chance of it. So I think they would have been better off doing that southern military base and the northern military base, myself personally. But, yeah.
Hopefully the 1.19 Livonia changes might fix some of those issues.
I'm really excited to see what they do, mate. I am. What do you think of Livonia?
I quite enjoy it. I don't play it that much, but when I do play it, I normally play hardcore servers. I feel like it's quite a good map for hardcore DayZ.
Yeah. Did you watch the Running Man's video on his opinions on Livonia?
Was it recent?
Yeah, it was probably only about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago.
I don't think I did. To be honest, I don't actually watch that much DayZ content.
Yep.
Can't. I play DayZ, I record DayZ, I edit DayZ. The last thing I want to do is watch more DayZ.
I kind of have to, for what I do, keep up to date with what's going on and what's out there. And there's so much of it at the moment. Yeah, you were talking about with streaming. There's so many people streaming now. There's so many people making DayZ YouTube content as well, isn't there?
There is, yeah. It's nice to see.
Now, even just looking on the sidebar here of the video I've got up of yours. We've got Vinium, Sabathi, South Sweet, Marks, Killbeans, Freshborns, Gecko Fish, just this Anarchy, so many people who are absolutely killing it.
There is, just crazy. Especially the size of some of these channels, they're getting like crazy amount of views.
One of the things that's weird, and I'd be interested to know if they cover this in the degree you're doing. I know it's more about esports than that, but it's funny how there's not many people who have managed to achieve what Paul the Running Man has done, where he's massive on Twitch and he's also a massive DayZ content creator on YouTube. One of the names I saw down the bottom there, Smoke. Now, Smoke is bigger than the Running Man on Twitch. When Smoke streams, he has 5,000 people watching him. Running Man usually has 2 to 3, maybe 4K. But the Running Man puts a video out, he gets over 100,000 views. Smoke puts a video out, he's lucky to get 30, 40,000 views.
I have no idea. From the look of Smoke's channels, they look a lot less unedited, although he does have some edited ones.
Okay, I'm wrong there. He averages around about 60,000 views. It seems on his channel.
But no, I've always viewed Running Man as just an exception from everyone else because he's just so much bigger and like so many levels above everybody else in terms of, especially on Twitch, he just gets an absurd amount of views. To be fair, I've never really sort of followed Smoke or watched any of his streams, so I'm not too can't really comment on that. But if he's getting 5,000 views, then sure he's doing something right. That's ridiculous.
Oh, when he streams, mate, he's a very minimalist. Doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles. He's almost like the antithesis of what most Twitch streamers are. For most Twitch streams, it's like playing a pokey machine. There's bells and whistles and alerts going off and hype trains and all the rest of it. And Smoke's got pretty much all of that turned off, and it's just him playing the game. No overlay. He plays quite, hardcore himself, just to be as immersive as possible. And he just happens to be a complete and utter fucking beast when it comes to PvP.
And I mean, I'm guessing that's it. That's his own sort of style. And he's doing well.
Yep. I think he started off playing PUBG. I think is his law, but we're not here to talk about Smoke. We're here to talk about you, mate. I've got to get back onto you, don't I? What about yourself? You say you play a lot of hardcore stuff. So you're more of a survivalist style player?
I still PvP and raid even when I play the hardcore. I quite like my PvP.
Yep.
At the moment, I'm playing on a vanilla server actually, which is my first time in a while.
How are you finding it?
I hate combination locks. I've decided they're actually an awful feature. because basically I keep locking myself out my base. I forgot when you use a code lock, you can open the gate from anywhere, right? You don't actually have to be able to see the lock. But when
Yep.
you use a combination lock, you have to see the lock,
Yeah.
which actually limits where you can build quite a bit. And when I built my base, I didn't realize this, and I locked myself out. Admin had to come and fix it for me.
The server I play on, DayZ Down Under, they've created their own mod that's part of their mod pack, and it's a feature that I think they should add to vanilla DayZ. And it's one of the issues I have with code locks is that you see people when they get to their base and they pretty much just sprint, tap the gate, the gate opens, and they keep on sprinting, and they run inside and they tap the gate again, and it's shut behind them. So if someone is persistent and patient and sitting there waiting, trying to get you, they've got to be a pretty fucking good shot to hit you when you're running at full tilt, and when you're trying to get into the base with the door open. What they've done is combo locks are the other extreme, where, like you said, it's finicky. You've got to look at it, then you've got to dial it, and you're standing there, and then the lock drops on the ground. You've got to pick the lock up. So if you're carrying, you're double carrying, got no room in your inventory, you got to go in, drop something, come back out, pick up the lock, close the gate. You're uber vulnerable. What they've done on DayZ Down Under is the combination locks you actually remember, like code lock mod does, but you have to still look at the door and hold the button down for the time that the combination lock takes to turn. They've implemented up to a 5-digit lock on there as well. So there's a bit of that extra level of safety there, but they're rarer. But yeah, so once you've entered it once, you don't need to enter it again. It remembers, but you still have to be a little bit vulnerable. So, do a bit of a clearance, run around, make sure no one's camping your front door. Stand there, open the door. It opens, the combo lock stays on the gate, so it doesn't drop. And when you close it, it automatically locks behind you. So I think they've reached a really good middle ground, and that feature in DayZ Vanilla would be phenomenal, I think.
Yeah, I think the locks could definitely use some improvement.
Yeah.
That seems like quite a nice system. I've never actually got to play DayZ Down Under just because of ping. Don't want to play a server with like 200 ping.
Oh, mate, it'd be more for you from the UK. It'd be 300 plus.
Yeah. I can imagine. Sounds a bit unplayable.
Oh, look, mate, I played the village for the experience. But when you are I'm not a PvPer by any stretch of the imagination. But it's not the greatest. Even just looting, and you open a door and you've got to wait that half second to a second for the door to actually react to you tapping on it. It's quite frustrating, and you can't drive. Driving is just you're a madman if you try to drive. Yeah. Even More Doors has the best base building features. Even More Doors. I need to check that one out. They've got Dumpgrass barricading mod, which is just fucking awesome. I don't know if you've had any experience with that one, Rav.
I've had experience with the Even More Doors mod.
Yep.
What was the other one you were using?
Dumpgrass barricade fortifications mod.
Maybe. I don't really remember the name. Base fortification. That one. You'll have to link me. I'm not too sure.
Give me 1 sec.
Oh, here, I think I found it. The one with the windows and.
Yep.
Yeah, I have run into this one. It's quite nice. I like how you can barricade the windows.
And he's got doors.
Yeah, the small doors. I don't know why they're not a part of DayZ. They should be. But then I don't know if the devs want people to take over houses or build in the woods, because like the default placement of where you can place walls is really bad for building in buildings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you have
it's
to
kind of base building needs more love. in DayZ. I've said it many a time that it's almost like it's the bare minimum done to it. And the few times Adam's talked about it, they don't really have anything planned for it either, which is kind of disappointing because it's an integral part of a lot of people's DayZ experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's the end game, isn't it, to get a base down?
Yep.
Yeah,
I know people argue that it ruins the DayZ experience, and that's fine if it ruins it for you, but for a lot of people, it's a big part of the game.
Yeah, and there's servers where if you don't like base building, there's servers with that turned off, which are quite good, in my opinion. But no, I think being able to barricade windows and being able to build doors which actually fit, like slimmer doors, should be in the game already, and maybe some more storage, like a little weapon rack, rather than like every time you go into a base on vanilla, it's just tons of like wooden crates, like just hundreds of them.
Yeah.
And it's just a bit strange.
But there's nothing craftable in the way of storage other than a crate. That's the only item you can make. I mean, it's weird. Not even a shelving system to stack crates on.
Yeah, even if it was just like 2 little wall hooks that you could put one gun on.
Yeah.
You could make a few of those and decorate your base with them. That'd be nice. That just takes like a couple planks.
And there's been some really cool models made by people in mods. You sometimes wonder why they don't say, well, can we buy this off you? For X amount of thousands of dollars or whatever. I don't know. If I can pick a number, I don't know what they're worth technically. Someone probably has an idea, but just to expand it a bit, but we're blessed on PC, but the console's a big money maker for them. You think that they would want to give them more. And you look at some of the other games coming out and some of the stuff you can craft in that, it's insane.
Yeah, even if it had a system where they were buying people's mods, it would probably like up the quality of every mod because people want theirs to get bought as well. So it probably just do good for the game. DayZ bring more features. I don't know how much money they want to spend on it, but I know with armor, in armor you can actually get you can buy DLCs.
Yep.
Which have items in. So you can use the items without having the DLC, but you get like a watermark. I mean, I'm not a fan of that. But if they can somehow include these items in DLCs, then I don't know how you do that, but then they could sort of, if they don't want to spend the money, they could put it on to the players.
Yeah. Show console a bit of love. And even just make vanilla DayZ a bit better. Now you said you like a bit of the PvP at the moment. What are your thoughts? Did you see the little discussion I was having with Dozing Chopper on Twitter, responding to JLK's tweet?
I did see it. I didn't read it all.
Yeah. What do you think about the state of vanilla PvP?
I mean, everyone's talking about like that they're sort of one-tapping people.
Yeah.
I always get one-tapped. Every time I shoot someone, they seem to just tank my shot like it's nothing. So I don't know. I like how, because if you remember, you used to get shot, and when you went uncon, you'd be uncon for a really long time.
Yeah, it was kind of random, but we all had those times where it's like 20 minutes later, and am I going to get up? Or am I bleeding out? Well, what's going on? You didn't know, and then it changed to just you were insta killed.
But yeah, so now a lot of the time you can wake up before you've been full finished.
Yeah.
Which is quite nice. I don't know. I think the main problem, rather than the armor, is like people have been saying the weapons are too common. Like these high power like Mosins are too common.
Mm-hmm.
Then even if nobody actually plays, or not many people actually play vanilla, like the official vanilla servers. And if you actually play those, the weapons are kind of hard to find. So I'm not too sure. I don't have a problem with the PvP myself at the moment.
I say I don't, but I'm 100% admit that I'm not a PvPer by any stretch of the imagination. I used to do all right, But of late, I'm I don't know, maybe fucking I'm getting Parkinson's or something, but I just can't PvP to save myself. But I still enjoy playing DayZ because there's more to the game than just running around and gunning. My take on it is basically that, well, if you're aware that you could be one tap knocked within 200 meters, don't get yourself within 200 meters of where someone can shoot you from. And if you do, you've got to be aware that you're taking that risk. If your style is run and gun, then there's a chance that someone's going to get a shot. They made it seem like everyone's just one tapping them. If I one tapped knocked you, I would be literally screaming to the fucking sky because maybe it's my mouse settings for the pro gamers. Yeah, it probably is easier, but it's not that easy for everyone. It's such a complicated thing as well. You look at the dedicated PvP style games like, PUBG and that, they're constantly balancing. They're constantly changing the weapons, trying to find that perfect mix. I don't think it's that bad on DayZ, to be honest. Could it be better? Probably, yeah, but it's not that bad.
The thing that I want to see in DayZ in terms of balancing is like a location exclusive weapon. Like I'm pretty sure the VSS and AS Val are exclusive to the toxic zones.
Yep.
But they're not that good of weapons. Like they're silent, right? But I mean, I wouldn't run it over a Mosin. I wouldn't take a VSS over a Mosin, which you can get a Mosin a lot easier. But if they had like a high powered sniper rifle that will one tap, which you can only get from the gas zone, that would make more sense in my opinion. And then maybe
with the Mosin, like if you're running and gunning, you're most likely going to have an AR. I'm going to guess, Rav.
Yeah.
Yep. And if you come up against a guy with a Mosin, it's pretty much like in the old Call of Duty. There's a chance that they're going to one tap you. And yes, there was the whole quick shot, quick scoping bug where it aim assisted and helped you get that shot a bit better. But if he misses that one shot, he's dead. If he hits it,
right,
you're dead. But that's a risk that he's choosing to take. You look at someone like Toprek. That guy is just fucking insane with his Mosin. The shit he pulls. I watched a clip of his just the other day where he was running along, and I replied on Twitter or on the YouTube comment, and I said I watched that video back about 4 or 5 times, and I could still barely see the person you saw.
I've seen it. The one where he's like on the Starry Hill, and not on the Starry Hill,
and
but
he's running along.
Yeah, and he quick scopes the guy. That's insane.
Now, if that was me running with a Mosin out, I'm dead. That guy had an AR, I'm pretty sure. And he's got 30 rounds, potentially 60 rounds or 75, 40, depending on the mag type he's got. He's got 40 rounds to keep on going. You've got that one shot. And then you've got to start running, ducking and weaving. And, if you've got plate carrier on and with gear, with me, I've got one shot because I'm usually that weighed down with loot that I've got no stamina. So it's an all-in one-shot risk. And if you fuck it, you're a dead man. That other guy will just destroy you with his AR. So that's something they've got to try to keep in mind as well. That, when you're running and gunning as well, if you're running and gunning out in the open and you get knocked, well, that's part of the problem as well. You got put down in a place where they can easily finish you again. Your play style is hampering you in that regard. If you're constantly getting knocked and one-tapped, maybe try to find actual cover as opposed to running around in the open and relying on being able to, zig and zag your way out of bullets. Archie was saying the VSS used to be the GOAT. Going back to your point about the exclusive weapons, I do miss the VSS with the armor-piercing rounds. If you had that thing loaded with a 10-round mag with armor-piercing, and you could get 2 or 3 of those into the person, they were gone. They were gone. Now it's a shadow of itself, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I remember back in 0.62, almost all of the good weapons they weren't exclusive to locations, but they were extremely rare.
Yeah,
that you could could only find the UMP and the FAT, and the UMP was good back then. You could only find the UMP and the SVD and FAL at like very sort of certain specific locations. I think they were bugged, to be fair, because there was like this one shed on the map where you could only find a FAL, but stuff like that.
In Pavlovo.
Quite. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
But
there was that,
stuff like
that
that.
barn for the VSS up the north there near Novaya Petrovka, is it?
Yeah, and you could get a UMP in a car by Svetlo and stuff like that.
Yep. I
missed
that.
It was
I
quite
missed
nice.
that. I missed that. I do miss that. Those locations, because it was a high risk. There was, but now with the toxic zones, it would make sense to have. Yes, I think you've still got to have that sort of stuff potentially spawning on choppers, but I agree. Most of the stuff in your Northwest Airfield, Tizzy, and that should be reasonable, but it's kind of hard though because the Mosin is such an iconic weapon, Rav. The
thing is, it's being used wrong, right? Like these snipers, you should be like up on a hill sniping. Right? They're not designed for people to run around and quickscope, and it's because these players are so good, right? They can do that. Like, a Mosin is good close quarters, like with a PU on. You can do some real damage with that. So, I mean, the only way I can see them fixing that is to add just a stupid amount of sway when you're not crouching.
Or weapon drag. For those who've used firearms IRL, your big guns like a Mosin, it's not something you can easily swing around. It's got a bit of inertia behind it. And that's one thing that DayZ doesn't do well is weapon inertia. Again, you watch that clip of Taupe, and his reaction time is, is he on speed or something? To have reaction times like that, it was just the most insane clip. I should probably try to find it if I can, just so people know what we're referring to. I think it was on Twitter, wasn't it?
I don't know where I saw it. I think I saw
No,
YouTube.
I think it was on his YouTube. Yeah, it was a one of the. Everyone's doing the little shorts now.
I found it. Yeah, I've never wrecked anyone more on this before.
Okay, give me 1 sec. Just so you guys know what we're on about. 37 seconds. And
Yo, if I kill them with that shot, I'm gonna laugh my tits off, I swear to God. Are you close to me?
No, he did.
That's a different guy.
Oh. Wait, is it you?
That's
Did I shot
you just shot. I killed him! Oh my God!
Oh.
Oh, he had a Mosin as well, so they both. But you go back, and if I set the speed to that's insane.
It is good, yeah.
But a Mosin, you couldn't do that with a Mosin IRL. You'd have to hip fire.
Right.
But then that enters into the whole argument, which I was having with Dozing about IRL versus what makes for good gameplay.
They would, to balance, they'd have to change the entire gun gameplay rather than the values, in my opinion. Which then people just aren't going to like. Like if you add a bunch of nausea, is that what you called it?
Say that again, sorry?
Yeah. The weapon drag. If you add a bunch of that, then I don't know if people are going to like it.
No, they're not.
It's about They're probably not going to touch it just because it'll upset more people than who are already upset at the moment.
That was a headshot. He got the headshot. That's a 1 in a million for a 1 in a billion for me. 1 in a trillion, more like it actually. But that should be an insta kill. a headshot with a Mosin like that, or should be most of the time. The famous Finnish sniper actually survived an exploding round to the head, and went on to. I think he died in 2002. I'm not sure. I watched something on him again today, but it's not always an insta kill. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
I feel like armor's pretty balanced.
Yeah.
Like the other day, I ran up to someone laying on the floor. They had a helmet on. It wasn't even like I think it was a Gorka helmet.
Yep.
And I shot them in the head with an AK at 74, and they didn't even go uncon.
Yeah,
Like
that's
one bullet to their head.
That's
I don't know.
That's a bit ordinary.
The people are saying you're getting one tap.
Most ballistic helmets aren't designed to withstand a direct impact from a round of that caliber. They're more designed to protect you from fragmentation and stuff like that. You're starting to talk about your PUBG Tier 3 helmet, which IRL is a very, very heavy piece of equipment. So it's almost unbearable to wear that thing. You wouldn't wear that long term. So yeah, that's pretty ordinary that you shoot a guy in the head at point blank with an AKM or a AK-101 or AK-70.
It was the baby 74, yep. And he survived.
Which it's still, it's almost a 5.56 round. At that range, that should be, yeah.
I think every headshot should kill, and if you have a helmet on, not knock out. Because if you can get a headshot, you should be rewarded for that, in my opinion.
Yeah. But I think the lower calibers, the pistols and stuff like that, maybe an uncon. The higher calibers, it's it's hard to get a headshot. Toke just did basically a quick flick with that, and he got lucky, and the round went onto his head. But most of the time, you're probably just going to get a body shot. So the times where if you've actually DayZ Chopper's bane of his existence a camper, but if you've camped and you've sat there and not been detected, and you scope in and you get someone in the head, you should be rewarded for it, because yes, it's not the hardest thing to snipe from a distance when you're laying there and someone's drinking at the well, but you've still sat there all that time.
Yeah.
Corpus is saying in chat, I noticed that a lot of YouTube DayZ Elite don't even take a knee or prone for better recoil, and they make good shots with that COD quickscope stuff. Bring back Armor 2 DayZ mod.
Well, in my opinion, like I've always said, you're better off moving. Like if you're like fighting someone rather than crouching in the tree, you're more hidden. If you do get spotted, you're dead, right? Because you're not moving. Someone can line up a shot and shoot you. If you never stop moving in DayZ, you're less likely to get hit. So you are just best off only ever stopping, like while you're shooting, like just to shoot.
Yeah, even I've noticed that, and I know the real tactics from my time in the army. You are on your guts, you're crawling the majority of a firefight, but in the gameplay that doesn't work so well because with things like graphic settings and people can basically make the bushes just completely disappear. You can't rely on camouflage. Concealment. You've got to rely on the main thing, the old serpentine. Keep it running. You look at JLK's videos, his gameplay ones. Him and his guys do that. They're playing on the servers with stamina removed pretty much, so they've got the ability to just keep on zigging and zagging. But if you do drop to your guts, you're very vulnerable.
I think that just has something to do with the grass as well. Like the grass isn't rendering past however many meters, and once there's no grass, you're a sitting duck, aren't you?
Yep. I think that it is around about the 200 meter mark as well, where the grass stops rendering. So it's a risky thing to do to go prone. If you're sniping, if you're being Mr. Sneaky Peeky and that, for sure, it makes complete sense. But in a firefight, if someone shoots at you, it's almost suicide to do it.
Yeah.
So, what have you got planned with events in the future, mate? I've had a bit of a chat with you about maybe trying to work something out in the future. But what's your vision for what you want to do?
So, I mean, I need to get a server and all that put together. But what I want to do is like an event every not weekly. That's not going to happen. That just
No.
takes way too much time. But sort of every so often, maybe like every 2 weeks or once a month, just like a classic sort of Survivor game style event, which there aren't. I mean, I haven't seen any of those for a while.
No. There's
But
some
they
great,
work well in
events
DayZ.
being run, but
There
there's
is, yeah.
no one's really done the old classic Survivor games.
So yeah, just to sort of bring Prevail back and sort of do events every so often, but there'd be like very similar events. Something that can be put together once really well and then just reran again and again,
Mhm.
rather than having to make. Because what I used to do is just like a different event every week, and like you need planning, sort the mods out, sort the loot tables out,
Yep.
test it. Takes a lot of time. Whereas if I can get something perfect and just maybe obviously change the zones and change slight stuff to make it different, but keep the basics the same, it'd be a lot more easier.
Because
But the problem was just time management.
I miss the old Survivor games. I really do. I love the events that are being run. You know, Happy Bombs, True Colors, Spaggy's Run Drive Retry, Queens of the Castle. Even that Squid Games event that was done. That was just absolutely amazing. But anyone who watches the podcast knows where my heart is. My heart is firmly in the OG Survivor games. They were just the best when you had the biggest names in the gaming community of DayZ all together in an event, as buggy and broken as DayZ was back then in the mod and the early standalone. It was just nothing like it. Did you ever watch them?
Yeah, I did. I don't know if it would be possible to get all the content creators back together for one. That'd be really good. Maybe if it was for like charity, because Rust, they did this thing. We actually played in some of the DayZ guys, me and Sour Sweet, actually played as the DayZ team in a Rust tournament. But they did it and it was just for charity. And they raised like tens of thousands of pounds.
Yeah.
But all the content creators came together and played on this sort of quick Rust mode they'd put together. But if we could do something similar in DayZ with all the content creators, like classic Survivor games, I feel like that'd be really, really nice to see.
I reckon if you reached out to Scotty about it, mate, he'd probably be open to hearing more about the idea and helping to promote it and that, because he's always looking for things he can do to help promote the game and that with the limited budget he's got.
Yeah, I mean, once I've got these, obviously I want to do some normal ones with just normal players, make sure it's running smoothly, and then maybe that's something I'll talk to him about.
See, I've always liked the idea of having your pro-ams as well, where you team up a content creator with an unknown, so maybe someone who's not even a content creator, because there's always people who I'd love to be able to take part in an event like that. So even if you are running them, every other one is just one for anyone to enter, so they can all get to experience it themselves.
Yeah, of course.
You mentioned Sour Sweet, isn't he doing well at the moment, mate?
I think he streams. I haven't spoken to him in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if he actually uploads anymore. Check, but he does well on Twitch. Oh, he did upload, 2 weeks ago, nearly 200,000. So he's doing well, yeah.
Yep.
I think he's focusing on Twitch from the last I spoke to him.
It's funny, the meta for YouTube at the moment, mate. Everyone's having to do these, how we dominated a server, how we did this, how someone with X amount of hours and all the rest of it. It's quite funny, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't want to say I pioneered that, but a year ago I did upload a how a 5,000 hour pro dominated a DayZ server. But no, that's just a matter, isn't it? Like, that's what gets the views. That's what people do.
Have they talked about that in your degree at all?
No, not really. They don't really talk about sort of search engine optimization or anything like that. It's more about no. I've missed a lot of classes. Well, I'm not the best student.
You what? Sorry.
I've missed a lot of classes. I'm not the best student, so I can tell you everything
Yep.
they spoke about. But no, I don't think there's been much on search engine optimization or anything like that. It's more about the event side of things rather than growth and that sort of.
Yep. So, and you're obviously looking at it with a mind for events you can do in DayZ.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about maybe sort of trying to get some of the guys to help out because they're always looking for opportunities just to work on productions. Some of the people on the course.
Yep.
So, I mean, if I could have a crew who are like talented in that would be amazing.
Yep. I know Pansy, who is a well-known PUBG shoutcaster. She's also a fan of DayZ. So keep her in mind if you're ever looking for someone. I'm not sure, whether she would want to be paid or not, but she knows the game and she's a professional shoutcaster. So yeah.
I think if I could put together some sort of creator event, having shoutcasters and all that would be like just up the level of production.
Yeah.
To the best I can do, that would be really nice to see.
It's just a hard game to from a viewer perspective, DayZ, with the lack of like player names, and so there's some of that stuff there. But you look at some of the other games, you're like, well, I watch the competitive PUBG scene events because I just love the way they're done. I don't like the company, but I love to watch the events, and the stats that they can get are just amazing. In the middle of a live event, and they can tell you how much damage each person's done, and that's taking it to the whole next level.
Yeah, I mean, you can get the names, and I think you can get the health, which might be enough. The biggest problem I found when streaming the events was like the camera angles. You need a team of just cameramen that you can switch between.
Yep. And they need to be proficient with the use of it.
Yeah, you miss most of the good stuff. Till the very end where everyone's nearby. Like at the very start, you can just miss a fight.
Because it's a lot of responsibility to be a shoutcaster and have to control the camera for yourself as well. Because you've got to know the admin tools, and just watching Amish and them and Dr. Dreas doing the Queens of the Castle event. It interrupts the flow of what they're doing when they're like, oh, what's happening? And then they've got to teleport and stuff like that. It makes it much harder for them.
So if you could have a dedicated shoutcaster who's only commenting on what they can see on the screen, and then a team of people recording, and then one guy just swap. Maybe the shoutcaster is switching between the scenes themselves, because then they can look at what they want to look at.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you could have like 3-4 people just solely spectating, and then you can link it all up through OBS and have somebody control it and switch between scenes, and that would work the best. It's just getting the team together.
Would you have to do that like in a physical location, or can that be done with people all around the world sharing their feeds?
It can be done around the world. That'd be slight delay. I think maybe you'd put a delay on the stream anyway, so it wouldn't be anything significant.
Yeah, but
it can be done.
Best practice would be if you could have it all in one physical location, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah. There's enough of you boys in the UK, mate. I'm certain you'll be able to come up with something.
True. Crazy how many content creators are British.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of you bloody pommy bastards.
Pommy?
You never heard that term before?
No, I haven't.
No, that's what us Aussies call you Brits. English. It's a term for the English poms.
I don't know.
I'm surprised you've never heard that before.
I don't know what we call Australians, just Aussies.
Convicts. Back in the day, I actually started a DayZ server, and it was Aussie Convict Attack Force. We were linked with the Blue Waffle Attack Force guys, and yeah, it was a running joke because they used to always call us bloody convicts, and But no, we'll just call ourselves Aussie convicts. Sean, I'm not understanding what you mean in there, mate. DayZ needs to implement something unofficial so when you die, it tells you, or you'll start everything you've done in the time you've been game playing.
Like statistics at the end of each life. That'd be quite cool.
Yeah, statistics would be good if that's what you mean, mate.
I swear there is something like that where you can see how many people you've killed on the main menu.
Yeah, so amount of infected, killed, distance run, I think is, yeah. What was I going to say then? I got derailed. Derailed my train of thought. No, completely gone. So what else have you got planned, mate?
No, I'm just going to keep trying to get these videos out.
Yep.
I mean, the plan was every week, but I'm not going to make any guides until after 1.19 comes out.
Yeah.
So it'll just be every 2 weeks until that.
What are your thoughts
can't
on
imagine.
1.19? What do you think we're getting?
God knows, but they're probably 2 guns, a sniper, something else. There's been that sniper tease picture. I don't know if the game really needs another sniper, but there we go. And then what else did they tease? They teased, I don't know what that siren thing was. That was a bit strange. I keep hearing things about bunkers. That'd be really nice.
That would be. I want more to be able to do, more to explore. An underground area would be absolutely insane. What have we got? Pretty much the building up a tizzy, and that's about it. A couple of small little caves in a few unknown locations. Not going to say where they are. Go find them. There's enough videos out there telling you where they are. A tunnel, and that's about it. I'd love to see a sewer system underneath Cherno or Electro, and be able to,
Yeah, that would be cool actually, like a sewer system you can get around safely, but then if you
Yep.
bump into someone else in the sewers, that's a nice idea.
I'd love one. I'd love one at Tizzy, all underneath Tizzy. You go in through the underground area on the command building there, and you can go to different areas of the map and some underground rooms you can search, and you've got to take a light. I love what Adam did with Namolsk. That once you go down, that's it. You need a light source or NVGs.
Yeah, they'd have to get that right. But if Adam did it, he still works at BI, doesn't he? So
Yep.
he knows how to do it. He's done it on his own map. So something they could bring to the actual game.
And yes, Corpus, you are correct, mate. He hates the term sniper. It's a scoped rifle. The guy with the rifle is the sniper.
Scoped rifle.
Dog tags would be good as well. You could choose to keep them on you. But again, that's starting to head more into a bit of a mill sim, which it's always been a big argument, hasn't it, Rav? Is DayZ a PvP game or a survival game? In my opinion, it's a survival game with PvP. Bringing dog tags into it, everyone having dog tags, would add more credence to people saying it's a mill sim.
Yeah, I mean, there's modded servers with dog tags. I think
I love that. I love it.
Their best bet is keeping a game as minimalistic as possible in that sort of stuff, and let people sort of take their own take on it. If you want to have dog tags on, you can just play a modded server with dog tags on. Then people can customize the game as much as they want. So if they focus on just adding like core gameplay features rather than like sort of unique little extras, if it can be added by a modder, you probably shouldn't waste their time on it, in my opinion. They should focus on the map.
Yeah, but you're forgetting about console.
That is true. I mean, I'm assuming that's why they still add weapons, right? Because there's no need for PC to have weapons, only console players.
Yeah, it's a survival game built on a milsim engine, which is pretty amazing even in its own right. And that's why they went for the standalone, because they wanted it to do more than. I don't think they've got broken bones in Armour, do they?
No, I don't think so. Maybe in Armour 2.
Yeah.
think about armor. Not sure about armor.
Yeah, it was in Armour 2, but I don't think they had it in Armour. I don't know. Don't quote me. But yeah, bunker would be good, but they would just swim under the map and boom, they're in your base. Oh, geez, I remember the horrible swimmer fucking craze we had in the early days of standalone. Do you
The
remember
sharks.
that, Rav? Yeah, the
Yeah, the
sharks.
sharks.
All you'd see was these little arms coming at you as they were swimming.
I never learned how to do that.
Nah, I didn't want to. The only glitch I ever learnt was the Apple glitch, and it depended on the server I was on. If I was on a PvP focus server, I had no issue doing it. If I was on something like the Village, no, I wouldn't do it. And I knew that there was some. I never even learned how to get into the floor of the camo building.
That was the simple, like you could sit down with like an axe in your hand and it would sit you like further back. You could do it to any building in the game. Yeah, you could just sit down and then like turn your character if you had an axe, and you could get into like any wall.
There you
Guess
go.
people
I
just
never
did it
knew.
on
I never knew you needed an axe to do it. And they
But, yeah, I
couldn't,
think
they
you could
couldn't
use-
fix it, so they just turned off loot in that building.
Yeah. Remember the loot explosions as well?
Oh, I loved the loot explosions. I think that should be a dynamic event, a loot explosion. As bad as they were, because it showed just how broken the central loot economy was. There was something awesome about going into a room and going, "Oh my God, there's loot everywhere. I'll have this. I'll have this. I'll have this. I'll have this." And the 0.57 patch where everything was on those guard houses, which were all around the coast. So everyone would spawn, and within 5 minutes they were geared like Johnny
Have a
Rambo.
baby AK.
Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah.
I remember
Oh
that.
yeah. And that's it. Yeah, that's the beauty of DayZ. Even with all its bugs and all the rest of it, you can still look back at those things with a bit of fondness, can't you, Rav?
Yeah, of course.
And some of them are
But I think
things
that's-
that you wish were still around, like you were talking about, those unique locations for certain weapons.
Yeah, I do wish, or even just unique items. Like used to be, I mean, obviously it would have to change now, but you used to be able to only get the the white gas mask. I don't know
Yep.
what it's called.
You could only get that
that
at
from
Prison
prison.
Island, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. And that's cool because if you kill somebody with it, you're like, this item's really rare. Now I've got it, sort of thing.
Yep. Yeah, like the Yellow King helmet on Livonia is now. From what I've been told,
Yeah.
it only spawns at that one castle.
Yeah, that's right.
I found two there when I went there the other day, so we've got two of them in our base now. But yeah, what do you think they need to do the most for DayZ, Rav?
Base building improvements. Definitely base building improvements. I would personally really like to see bows and helicopters, but I can't.
Yep.
I don't expect that ever or anytime soon. Base building improvements is a must for sure. But it's just so there's so much you can do with it, and they haven't.
And to
I can
anyone
imagine
who
people
says
would really like that.
no, most people don't want that, I'm just going to tell you, go look at JLK's channel. 6 million fucking views on a DayZ video, and the majority of his content revolves around building his own base and raiding someone else's base. People love base building. People love base raiding. It's an integral part of the game. It might not be what you enjoy, but it needs love. It needs a lot of love.
I mean, they added all the base raid and stuff, so I can imagine adding some sort of something to counterbalance it.
I hope so. I hope so, mate. I've got my fingers crossed for it. They've got some great inspiration out there with some of the mods being made. There's so many different base building mods now. You've got Base Building Plus, DayZ Expansion, Dumpgrass Fortification mods, the R22R base fortifications, or whatever it was modded Dumpgrass is building fortifications. The one I did the other week was base fortifications with those. Have you seen that one with the huge walls and that? Looks like
Yeah,
Jurassic-
it's already
looks
a few
beautiful.
screenshots.
Really, really immersive. And he did add the torches to the top of it, so he's got a bit more bug fixing and that to do on it, but it just looks so promising. The walls we've got, they're just so token, aren't they?
Right. I can't imagine seeing anything on the levels of expansion, but more that fortification mod would be perfect.
Yeah.
And the walls. So when
Yep.
it's more realistic.
So you could choose to build a standalone structure out in the middle of the woods, or you can lock down an existing structure,
Yeah.
which is personally what I would probably go for, trying to lock down an existing structure.
That'd be easier. But then
Yeah.
it would be nice to see on this vanilla server. I saw a lot of people attempt to build standalone bases in the structure, and standalone sort of bases in the woods. But we just drove a truck up and we're in the base. Easy as that.
Yep.
Like there's no way for them to counter that.
No. Drive a truck up next to the wall on a vanilla server and you can just jump over the fence as well.
Yeah, that's exactly what we did. So
Yeah.
if they could add some more like compound walls like that mod, that'd be nice to see.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's something special about having this like huge fortress in the middle of the woods.
Yeah. Yeah, there is. And yeah, you know, you can. There's the argument that but you die and you just run back to your base and you're geared again. Yeah, but it takes a lot of work to build a base and keep it going. If your base gets too big, you become the target of everyone. And unless you've got a super dominant clan, which the server owner should really be trying to manage, because you've got to make the game enjoyable for everyone and not allow that to happen in the first place. But yeah, it's you become the target of everyone, so it's a lot of work to defend your base.
For sure. I know the server we've been playing on recently, we've been trying to take over like an entire town.
Yep.
And the amount of like just campers we have, just because we've sort of gotten too big, like we've taken over half this town now, and there's just people outside our door all the time. And we're built in a Shikovka, you know,
Yep.
the town in between, that little town that no one goes to, or I assume nobody went to it. And it's been packed full of people ever since we started building there, so you do become a target.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. So that's it. Everyone gets to play the way they want. And yes, it can become an issue when you get a super dominant faction or clan and they've got all the best loot and, you know, no more of it spawning in. But that just, you've got to educate the community on the server you're on about, you know, sometimes taking an L is required to keep the adventure rolling. You know, you probably learned that by now, Rav.
Exactly, yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah, I took 2 L's today. I got killed by infected at a train crash, and then I got told about a potential base I could go and get some stuff from. I went there; it had already been looted, so I thought, well, nails are really rare, and I'm in there hacking away at the walls to get the nails, and some guy crawled in and one-tapped me. Well, not one-tapped me, 2 or 3 tapped me, but I didn't even hear him. I had someone talking to me at the time, and I didn't even hear a footstep. Next thing I know, there's someone standing beside me and he just killed me without even saying boo. But, you know, that's part of the adventure for me is, you know, I'm playing a hardcore server where nails are very rare. So, you know, I took a risk. I lost my car. I lost the second SKS we had. We've only had 2 SKSs. They're all gone. So, but, you know, I was salty at the time. Fuck me, I was salty. But it's just pixels. End of the day, you know, I've still got other guns and I'll get to find stuff and I'm going to be looking for you, you orange banded armbar bastard. But it's all part of the parcel of the adventure, isn't it, Rav?
Yeah, of course. And if you're making videos, then you can, if you do die, take an L, you can sort of get a rivalry that way.
Yeah.
We've had these same people camping us every single time. It's called Kilo, and the other one's called Chicken Piss.
Yep.
And they just kept camping us and camping us and camping us. And we actually started playing on another random server, and we ran into them and we wiped them and took all their stuff, and that was such a good feeling to know. I mean, the chances of that happening, I don't know how we found them on the other server, but like the feeling knowing that I'd now ruined their day, and they've been like sort of tormenting us all week.
Yep.
It was a good feeling.
You just got to be careful. One thing I will say is base building / faction servers can become very toxic very easily, can't they, Rav?
Yeah, of course. People get way too competitive.
Yeah. You raid them and they lose everything and they get salty and then the insults start flying and then they start griefing each other and yeah, it's very what's the word I'm looking for? No, it's escaping me at the moment, but it's something that you've got to be aware of when you go on those servers. And yes, I miss them as well. Do you miss stripper clips?
Well, I don't know what stripper clips are.
Speed loaders.
Oh, the speed loaders.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where they've gone.
One
There
day.
was one for the Mosin as well.
Yep, and the Red 9 as well. One day the Red 9 will come back and we'll get the speed loader.
The Red 9 was a nice little weapon,
It was. Especially that little weird buttstock that you could put the pistol inside.
Got the internal mag as well. It was nice.
No need to. That's it was a great weapon for that. It was basically another revolver. In essence, a weapon that you didn't need to find the mag to be able to have a decent amount of bullets in it.
Yeah, I would always I still want to see the return of like the police variant of the MP shotgun.
Yep, the one with the two
nice.
with the foregrip pistol grip.
Yeah, the little smaller one. Yeah.
MP 133 was it? I think I saw something about that the other day. Someone was talking about it, and that we need that one back. I want the trumpet back. I miss the trumpet.
Yeah, I mean, people aren't going to be very excited about that. That's the thing. I don't know.
Yeah, do you even DayZ if you haven't killed someone with a trumpet?
That is true. The nice thing about the trumpet is you could like fold it up as well.
Yep.
But then I don't think inventory management even matters that much anymore. Like if you remember in the older version of the game, your inventory was a lot smaller.
Yeah.
And the fact that you could fold a trumpet up sort of made the difference sometimes.
Yeah. And again, internal magazine. So you didn't need to worry about finding that. Hell yeah, pump action 22.
It was a cool little gun.
It was. Yeah, it was. You generally dropped it as soon as you found even a sharpened stick. The joke was you do more damage throwing the trumpet at them. But it was one of those badges of honor, like with the old crossbow. Finally, I got a kill with the crossbow, and finally I got a kill with the improvised bow and arrow, and finally I got a kill with the trumpet. I think the trumpet was probably the hardest one out of all of them to do it with, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, the bow was good. You could one-shot somebody with that. But the trumpet, no, unless you got a headshot, you had no chance.
Yep. And if you weren't very familiar with it, having to remember to pump every time as well, you think you'd get confused and think you were carrying a sporter or something like that. But yeah. And yes, I do miss the good old days of camping Sniper Hill above Electro as well.
Most people don't do that anymore.
Well, there's something I've been talking about a bit with guests, is the meta of DayZ, how it's changed over all these years. Back in the early days of standalone and even in the mod, it was all about head up north, get gear, come back to the coast and battle it out for Electro or, blue square or triple yellow in Cherno. And you just really don't see those battles. Someone was saying on console it's quite prevalent, but PC, no.
Yeah, people don't camp. I mean, I guess there's more to do now. Like you can go to the radioactive zone, you can go build a base, you can go to Tissy, whereas back then, once you hit Northwest, not much more to do apart from sit there and wait for other players or go back down.
Yeah. Even that was kind of fun back in the day, the old Northwest airfield battles, because it was pretty much...
I miss the old airfield.
Two sides of the airfield, and yeah. Had a lot of fights back in the days on Pipsy there.
I don't know if it's just nostalgia or if it was genuinely better than the old one, but I still think it's better. The old airfield, it was just way more open. You would see people.
Yeah.
You wouldn't dare run across the airstrip, but now there's so much cover on the strip that get away with it.
Now I can't forget Foxy's question. How does it feel coming from Rav on DayZ Village to where you are today?
How does it feel?
Yeah. Back when you were a squeaker playing on the village to now.
That's toxic squeaker who glitched into every building. I don't know. I still PvP, I guess, but I'd say I'm a different sort of player. I'm nowhere near as toxic as I was back then. I just run into the village and kill everything.
Yep.
Not even I'd betray people as well. I was a sick-minded child. But no, my playstyle's changed, and it's very different. It's crazy how it's the same person, I guess, in some sense.
What are
It's
your
a difficult
thoughts?
question.
What are your thoughts
Oh,
on the future of DayZ? DayZ
Future
2,
of these.
is it going to be a mod for Armour 4, or are they just going to let it
I mean-
fall to ruin?
There will be a DayZ mod farmer for that.
Yeah.
That's guaranteed. Somebody will do that. Or maybe it won't be called DayZ, but like along the lines, same premise. But I could see a DayZ 2. It would make sense.
My money, I've said this to many people, but I say it again in case you haven't heard me say it. My money is, Zoo is saying in chat, as an ex-clan member of Rabs, I'm glad to see your success. But yeah, my money is on BI, if they're smart, will do it as a official DLC for Armour 4.
You think that would make sense?
Financially, it makes sense to me. That's why I say that. But you know, as we were discussing earlier, or maybe before the show, or sometimes I wonder if they like money. You know, why haven't they released any more DLCs for DayZ? You know, console crowd. They've got a lot of people playing it as part of their Xbox One Game Pass. But if they release a DLC for $19.95 or whatever, that's something they've got to buy to be able to play this new map, and that has some new gear and things like that. You know, you were talking about how Armour does their mods. It's probably not the best. You mentioned it was like a watermark or something like that. But I know when I dabbled in Armour, there were certain things I couldn't buy from the trader or something like that because I didn't have that DLC.
Yeah, that's actually quite an interesting take if they release it as a DLC. I mean, it'd be sneaky because you'd have to buy Armour 4 even if you had no interest playing it. But it would make the most sense from a development perspective.
Yeah.
And they've sort of got all their team on the same game.
Yep.
So it would make sense. So maybe what they release Armour 4 in the next few years, in a couple more years down the line, you get a DLC for it. But I don't think they'll let DayZ die. DayZ's their
cash cow,
moneymaker.
It's a cash cow. It's kept from what I heard, whether this is true or not, but you know the DayZ mod kept the company afloat. Armour 2 didn't do as well as they hoped it would, and then Dean released DayZ mod, and everyone started buying DayZ and Operation Arrowhead so they could play this fucking amazing game with, you know, the guy from Mythbusters turned into a zombie on it.
Yeah, it would be nice to see, but hopefully they don't just let it die. I mean, something would replace it. There's a market for zombie games. There always will be. People seem to love zombies in media in general. There's always zombie movies and that.
Yeah, it's a genre that just doesn't seem to want to die, does it? Which is quite fitting considering it's about zombies.
Yeah, and what is crazy is that DayZ's people say this game's going to kill DayZ. It's still yet to happen.
Yeah,
There's still yet to be another zombie game sort of overtake DayZ in popularity.
I like to say the only thing that'll kill DayZ is DayZ.
Right.
You know, another game may come out, but DayZ, as much as there are a lot of people who fucking hate the game, DayZ means it's there's a lot of lore and a lot of, you know, just vibe and nostalgia is the word I was looking for. There's a lot of nostalgia around DayZ for a lot of people.
Right.
Hence why we're seeing people like you know, 70,000 subscribers, and JLK on 600,000, I think he's on, and you know, Paul on however many he's on. They're just people are growing. You know, the amount of people who are still getting partnered playing DayZ on Twitch, mate. It's insane.
It is crazy. JLK's video is nearly at 1 million views from 2 weeks ago. It's mental. There's a lot of people just watching the game. I'd love to know how many people play on the consoles. I don't know if there's a way to see that.
No, I've tried to find that as well, but it's quite hard to do for some reason. But yeah, sorry, just sharing your socials again. There's a bug with the Stream Deck. It just keeps them not working for the YouTube comments. I've got to sign back in again, and because I've got 2-factor authentication, it's a pain in the ass. It's not something I can do easily. But yeah, mate, anything else you want to talk about? Is there anything burning issues for you?
I can think of. No, not really.
No? Keep on killing it, mate. You're doing really well. Yeah, you and Marks and all the others who are doing these guide videos, and obviously Wobo's the benchmark, but he goes into it at a level of detail that most people don't, where he gets right into the coding and the actual stats and that. But it's great seeing you getting over 100,000, 200,000 views on videos with or, how you find that many tits. But I swear every time I watch one of those videos like yours, I even with all the hours I've got in the game, I learned something that I didn't know.
Yeah, I can't imagine there'll be any more sort of tip ones till for a while.
Yep.
Sort of exhausted my knowledge.
Yep.
We shall see.
Rav, thank you so much, mate. I wish you the best of luck. You're doing well, mate, and we'll definitely have to follow up on this Survivor Games style event idea, because I think there's a market for it still. I do. There's a lot of nostalgia, and if you can get the right people to come along, I think it'd have. Look at the crowds they get watching Queens of the Castle.
I'm yet to watch that. I was away on holiday when that was.
Oh, look, I know it's Army streaming it, and he gets a decent audience as it is, but he still gets a decent audience when he's not playing. He's just shoutcasting an event. The views on the videos, Killbean's one, if you haven't watched it, is a great recap of the event from her team's perspective. But it's just, even Happy Bomb's True Colours, whenever there's those events on, they do well. A really well-run professional event, like I imagine you could do with the stuff you're learning at university. I firmly believe there's a market for it. So, we'll never know unless you try, eh?
Yeah, thank you.
Keep on going, mate. Keep on killing it. Mate, thank you once again. And yeah, like I said, I wish you all the best, and make sure you sub to his YouTube channel as well, folks. And follow him on Twitter.
Where?
All the best, Rav. Thank you so much, mate.
Thank you, man. All right, have a good one.
You too.
Cheers.